do simultaneous linear equations today. There's two
Okay.
ways you can solve these, right? The first one
Yep.
is elimination, and I think that this is generally the easier method. The second is substitution. Okay, so how do you do elimination? Let's look at any two equations. Suppose you have, let's look at this one. Okay. Suppose you have 3x plus 2y equals 7, and then you have 6x um, minus 2y equals 8, let's say.
Okay.
Okay. Now, we obviously can't solve either one of these equations on their own, right? Because there's two variables, so that doesn't work.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is you want to combine these two equations in a way that one of the variables gets like eliminated. So let's say we want to get rid of y. Okay, and
Yeah.
you're left with an equation that only has x in it. So how can we do that?
Okay.
In elimination, we either add or subtract the two equations together to do that. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's see if we can add these two equations. So if I add these two equations, this plus 2y and minus 2y, it'll just get cancelled out and become 0, right?
Yeah.
Right. So we can see that if we add these two equations, that the y gets cancelled out. So that is the correct method to take. Right. So let's do that. So first, let's add 3x and 6y. What would that give us?
6 and 6y.
Yeah, 6x plus 3x.
Oh, 9.
Yeah, 9x, right? Because you're adding the x parts together. So we get 9x. This is
Okay.
just 0. So we don't write this. Or you can write plus 0 if you want. And this equals 8 plus 7, right,
Okay.
which is 15. So now you're left with an equation 9x equals 15. And this is an equation that you can solve, right?
Yeah.
So what would the value be for x in this equation?
Um. Uh.
And how do you get rid of this 9 on the left? You know,
Um. Not sure.
right? So it's being multiplied by the x on the left, right? So to get rid of
Yeah.
it, you can divide by 9 on both sides, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that gets rid of it. So you're left with x equals
9.
15 over 9, right? Because you can't
All
just
right.
get rid of the 15. So x equals 15 over 9. Okay. That's the solution. Right? So you have the value for x. Now what you're going to do is you're going to substitute this value into one of the equations for y.
Okay.
Okay. So let's look at the first equation. Yes, I'm going to copy it. This is our equation. Let's paste this over here. Okay. So I'm going to substitute this value for x into the equation, right? That will give us
Yep.
3 times 15 over 9 plus 2y equals 7. Right? So does it make sense so far?
Yeah.
Okay. So 3 times 15 over 9 is going to be 5. Right? So this gives us 5 plus 2y equals 7. All right. So can you tell me what we would do now?
Divide them.
So we won't divide them first, because if we divide them by, let's say, 2, right, we're going to have to
Yep.
divide all of the left side by 2, right? So we can't just divide the 2y, we have to divide the 5 as well. And
Yeah.
that doesn't work. So first, let's get rid of this 5. right? And how would we do that?
Um, we subtract.
Yeah, that's correct, right? So it's being added, so we can subtract. So that gives us 2y equals 7 minus 5. Okay. So that gives us 2y equals 2. Now what would we do?
Uh, we divide.
Yeah, we divide, right? If it's being multiplied, then you divide. So you divide both sides by 2, and you're going to get y equals 2 over 2. So you get y equals 1. Okay, that's your
Okay.
second answer. So your complete answer is going to be x equals 15 by 9 and y equals 1.
All right.
Right, so do you have any questions for this one?
No.
All right, let's look at another example then. Okay. So you get the logic, right? That why we're adding these two together, because we want to get rid of one
Yeah.
of the variables. Okay, awesome. All right, let's look at this one now. Okay, so you have 7a minus 3b equals 24. And then you have 2a plus 3b equals 3. Okay. Now the first step that we can do is we can add these two. So let's add them. When I add these two together, what's the equation that I'm going to get?
Um, 9. 9a.
Yeah, 9a. And then
6b.
it's minus 3b and plus 3b.
Oh, 3b.
It just becomes 0, right? Because it's minus
Oh,
3
all right.
plus 3b. It's a minus 3 plus 3 is 0. So it just gets cancelled out. Right? That's
Okay.
why we're doing the adding, because we want one of the variables to just disappear.
Okay.
So it's going to be plus 0 equals and 27. Right? 24 plus 3 is 27. So now you have an equation and we can work with. Now you have an equation we can work with. 9a equals 27. Okay. Now, how would you solve this?
Um, um, we multiply them.
You divide by 9,
All right.
because over here 9 is being multiplied by a. So to get rid of it, we need to divide by 9. And if you divide on the left side, we also have to divide on the right side. So you get a equals 27 over 9. That gives us the answer of a equals 3.
Okay.
Okay. So that's our first answer. Now what's the second step? What do we have to do now?
Um, we have to subtract them.
Let's subtract them. Now we have to substitute this value of a back into one of these equations. Right?
Okay.
Now that we have a value for a, we can plug it into one of these equations, and that should give us an equation that has just b. Right? So we can solve for b then. Okay. So let's
Okay.
choose this second equation. So I'm going to copy this. All right. Now if I plug a into this equation, what will it look like?
Um, I'm not sure.
So you just substitute the value that in place of a, you're just going to write 3. Right?
Okay.
So plugging it into this equation. So you get 2 times 3, because a is equal to 3. And then the rest of it you just write as it is. Okay. So you're going to get 6 plus 3b equals 3. Okay. Now what would you do?
We would subtract them.
Yeah, that's correct. And what number do you subtract first?
6.
Yeah, that's correct, right? Because this 3 is being multiplied by b, so we're just going to leave this alone for now. Let's get rid of this 6 first. Right, so you subtract both sides by 6. So you're going to get 6 minus 6 is 0, right? So it gets cancelled out. You get 3b
Yep.
equals 3 minus 6. So you get 3b equals negative 3. Okay, so now what would you do?
We would divide them.
Yeah, that's correct. So you divide by 3 now. So you divide both sides by 3. This gets cancelled, and you're left with b equals negative 3 over 3. So b equals negative 1. Okay, and that's your final answer.
Okay.
So your set of answers is going to be worked out A first, right? So it's going to be A equals 3 and B equals negative 1.